So this is going to get us caught up on the whole Diddy trial. This is everything leading up to today. Now, you already know the day him and Dawn from Danity Kane are going to talk, you know, to testify today or whatever. But let's get the whole breakdown on the day, all right?
His children, 6 children, are in the courtroom at this point listening to all of this. And the jury was picked knowing that they needed a certain level of comfort to hear these types of descriptions. It was very emotional and really tough to hear, bro.
Is there any message for the alleged victims?
Dan got his daughters in there.
Do you believe your father's innocent? You still convinced your father during that testimony? Do you apologize on behalf of your father?
For the first time, the 3 Combs sisters appeared at the trial to provide emotional support for their father.
Wow.
But less than an hour later, they stood up, embraced each other tightly, and left the courtroom in tears. What exactly did the video shown at that moment capture that even Diddy's own daughters could not bear to witness?
That video is arguably the most important piece of evidence because it sets the stage when we're talking about coercion or fraud or force.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
Yes, give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space.
In Manhattan federal court, the air was still before the trial began. Cassie presented a previously unrevealed video purportedly capturing footage from a controversial freak-off holding the key to...
Cassie ain't been innocent this whole thing, man. Cassie been complicit with this whole thing, man. I got my views about Cassie as well.
...the allegations against Diddy. According to the prosecutor, the video is pivotal evidence unveiling a web of accusations targeting Diddy and secrets tied to his family. As the tape was officially admitted as evidence, the gazes among the Combs family members grew heavy, as if they knew they were about to face something irreversible.
Wow.
Just minutes after the video began, Delilah frantically covered the eyes of her twin sister, Jessie. Chance and Justin, however, couldn't tear their gaze from the screen where the image of a familiar woman suddenly appeared. Was it Kim Porter?
On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake.
Whispers from the audience spread rapidly like a wave of sound rising in the hushed courtroom. Then, without a word, all 3 left the room. The question lingers, what was revealed in that footage? And why, on their first visit...
Do y'all think he got something to do with Kim Porter? Let me know in the comments, y'all.
...to support Diddy, did they also turn and flee?
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant.
Wow.
Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a
Yo, could you sit up in the trial right there while your dad is in that situation?
web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes, something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Prosecutor Rachel Harper, a middle-aged woman with silver hair neatly tied back and thin-framed glasses, rose from the prosecution's table. Her voice resonated, deliberate yet commanding, like the steady beat of a drum heralding a momentous event. Ms. Twitcher, she began, her piercing gaze fixed on Cassie. Please describe to the court what has been referred to as the freak-off and your role in those events.
Wow.
The courtroom seemed to hold its breath, awaiting her
See
response.
what I'm saying?
Cassie drew a deep breath, her eyes sweeping the room, pausing briefly on Alex, seated nearby, his steady gaze serving as an anchor. She pressed her lips together, then began to speak. Her voice low but resolute.
She got 30 million, ladies and gentlemen.
As if each word had been carefully weighed.
I met Sean in 2005. I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom, it was a trap.
She paused, her gaze sweeping across the jury, as if to ensure they grasped the gravity of what she was about to reveal. About a year after we started dating, he introduced me to what he called the freak-off. He said it was a way to unwind, to explore new boundaries. But for me, it was like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from.
What is a freak-off? The freak-off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism.
Cassie described the freak-offs as meticulously planned gatherings orchestrated by Diddy, where he held absolute control.
I don't believe that.
He called it voyeurism. He enjoyed watching me with others, she said, her voice quivering as she recalled the traumatic memories. But it wasn't just watching. He dictated everything: what I wore, how the room was lit, what acts were performed, even the amount of baby oil we had to apply so our bodies would glisten to his liking. She explained that Diddy required her to purchase outfits from specialty stores, scanty garments, and he would personally choose which ones she had to wear. I had no say, she said, her eyes fixed on the jury, her voice sharpening. If I refused, he would threaten me, leaving me feeling trapped with no way out.
It depends on where the relationship goes. If it's something that you didn't want to share and it's your secret, it's your secret. I do believe in karma if you're hurting people.
According to Cassie, the freak-offs were not mere fleeting gatherings. They often lasted from 36 to 72 hours, she revealed, her voice trembling as she described the sheer exhaustion she and other participants endured. One time, a freak-off stretched to 4 days. They happened weekly, like a mandatory part of my life. She recounted her coerced role in organizing these events. I had to find people through platforms like Craigslist or professional services, she said, her eyes lowering as if ashamed of her actions. I arranged their travel to places like Miami, Ibiza, New York, Louisiana, Las Vegas.
All on her card, y'all.
Vegas. I worked with his team, pretending they were recruiters to bring people in, but it was all part of the plan he'd laid out. Cassie explained that Diddy controlled not only the participants, but also the environments where the freak-offs took place. He directed the lighting in the room, she said. At first, it was candles, creating a false sense of romance. Later, he switched to professional stage lighting, as if we were performing in a film where he was the sole director. She described how Diddy choreographed every detail, from the participants' movements to the specific acts he wanted to witness. He even demanded the use of illicit substances to make everyone more comfortable, she said, her voice choking. I remember once, before a freak-off, I had to text him to ask, "Which pill should I take from your bag?" And he replied, telling me exactly which one.
Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was matter of fact.
The trial reached its climax when Cassie's attorney, Samantha Klein, a woman with neatly tied brown hair and a piercing gaze, rose and requested to play a video. Your Honor, Klein declared, her voice ringing with clarity, we request permission to present evidence of a freak-off from 2018 labeled as the White Party Archive. The courtroom held its breath, all eyes fixed on the large screen in the corner. As the screen flickered to life, the first image revealed a lavish seaside mansion, palm trees swaying in the breeze, and neon lights pulsing through the night. Figures moved in a chaotic blur, electronic music thumping, blending with laughter and indistinct sounds. The video captured what were known as Diddy's white parties, gatherings where celebrities, entrepreneurs, and models convened to revel in a lavish lifestyle. But what unfolded on the screen was not glamour, it was the dark underbelly of these events. Familiar faces, a businessman in a white suit, a pop star with platinum-dyed hair, a model in a shimmering dress, appeared engaging in compromising acts, from using illicit substances to behaviors that crossed ethical boundaries. The atmosphere in the footage was suffocating, like a world where all rules were erased, where power and desire reigned supreme. Cassie, from the witness stand, continued to describe her role in the freak-offs. I wasn't just a participant, she said, her gaze steady yet betraying a flicker of pain. I was forced to organize everything, from recruiting people to ensuring they arrived at the right place at the right time. I worked under his direction, but I didn't want to. I was afraid that if I refused, he would release compromising videos of me. She revealed that Diddy routinely recorded the freak-offs, archiving them as a tool to control those involved. He said those videos were his insurance, she said, her voice trembling. If I didn't do what he wanted, he'd make them public, ruining my reputation and my life.
And in her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to do it.
They are spinning this so hard.
The courtroom froze when the video transitioned to a new scene. On the screen appeared a woman seated on a couch, her eyes vacant, seemingly unaware she was being filmed. Her face was painfully clear, Kim Porter, the late mother of Delilah and Jesse. Chance in the front row covered her mouth, her trembling hands betraying her shock. Delilah and Jesse, the twins who had tried to maintain a facade of strength, now sat motionless, their faces pale as wax. Delilah gripped Jesse's hand tightly, her nails digging into her sister's palm, as if anchoring her against collapse.
Wow.
Their eyes darted toward Diddy, a mix of panic, anguish, and indescribable betrayal, before locking onto their mother's image on the screen. The image of Kim Porter, with her hollow gaze and disoriented demeanor, was more than a mere moment in the video. It was a silent accusation, laying bare the depths of the manipulative system Diddy had constructed. Kim, once known for her strength and independence, appeared in a near unconscious state, as if drawn into a world where she didn't belong. Her presence in the freak-off footage not only
really making her look like a victim, bro.
Only raised questions about her role in these gatherings, but also stirred a darker suspicion. Was Kim's death, officially attributed to pneumonia in 2018, truly an accident, or was it the result of an intervention to silence her from exposing Diddy's secrets?
No.
They might got into a little spat, a little fight, something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her.
Wow.
Diddy, no longer able to maintain his composure, slammed the table and stood up, his chair tipping back with a piercing screech. "Stop the video now," he shouted, his voice hoarse, eyes blazing red. "My children are here, you can't do this." But his outburst was drowned out by Jesse's stifled sobs, soft yet sharp, slicing through the air like a knife. Chance, her eyes bloodshot, sprang to her feet, pulling her trembling twin sisters and rushing them out of the courtroom.
So they basically trying to say right now that the daughters think that now they're convinced that he did something to the mother. Look, y'all want me to keep stirring this pot up, man. Y'all gonna write part 2 in the comments and we can continue this going. Let this keep going. Other than that, we can end it right here. I would love to know what y'all feel about this so far, though. Do you think Diddy has something to do with Kim Porter? Do you feel like Cassie is innocent, or you feel like she's a victim? Let me know in the comments what y'all feel, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here.